Welcome back, YouTube, and welcome to 2019. It's the current year. Now, I know I've been dark for a while, and, well, quite frankly, the short version of that is life, and that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is there are certain things that have been going on in the news media, especially lately, that really, for lack of a better term, ground my gears. So, here I am in my long flowing locks and a beard so luscious, to have a conversation about a few things that annoy the shit out of me. And this is going to be an off-the-cuff video, so I'm going to maintain that some semblance of that same format that I had before, except, well, you're going to be seeing my face and not my avatar for most of this, hopefully. And, well, quite frankly, I don't have a script either. So this is actually what I intended off-the-cuff to be from the very start. But regardless, the three topics. There's three topics in the chopping block today. I'm going to start right off with number one, the spiciest of spices, the Green New Deal. Now, with those of you who aren't aware, the New Deal in of itself was absolutely horrible. And I remember in public education, because, you know, the government loves tooting its own horn as much as fucking possible in the public education system. The New Deal, the original New Deal, is what was attributed to getting us out of the Great Depression. For those of you not up on your history at that time. But long story short, it was attributed to getting us out of the Great Depression, when actually in reality it was the surplus of manufacturing jobs that were a direct result of wartime, which makes sense. Aside from that fact, there was an increase in the number of jobs that were created due to the increase in the amount of hardware that the military needed. There were also fewer people living in the residing in the U.S. because hundreds of millions of people, well, not hundreds of millions, but millions of people went to war. So, fewer people in the job market and a larger job market is what actually got us out of the Great Depression. But I don't know, the government paints it like this. It was almighty FDR and his vastly overuse of his power and grave increases to the size of the government, which, by the way, after FDR got out of office, was when the two-term limit for a president stopped becoming a precedent. That was just a courtesy that people observed and respected, and was actually put into law that, no, you're not allowed to serve more than 2 terms, because we're not having this fucking asshole again. But that New Deal was fucking horrible. The Green New Deal is so fucking bad, it's got FDR doing fucking somersaults in his grave. His polio-ridden ass is trying to come back as a fucking zombie just to throttle the dumbasses that came up with this. But the caveat to this is that there was a leak. I do believe that Fox News was one of the first ones to do it. And their mainstream media, as much as all the other media organizations and every liberal, not every, but a majority of liberals out there will tell you that they're the right-wing version of CNN, and they're the right-wing's media, which, if we're being honest, Fox News does lean right, but with the ever-decreasing standards of what it actually means to be left and right, ever evolving around us on a regular basis, leaning right is pretty fucking vast and vague. So, for the sake of argument, we will say that yes, they do lean right. Okay. The information that was leaked included a certain segment that said, for those who I don't know the exact words verbatim, but the long short of it is, there were going to be certain stipends and certain amount of taxpayer dollars going to be set aside for people that were unable or unwilling, that's the big one that got everybody's nuts torqued, or unwilling to work. Now, after this came out, and there were certain other media organizations that pushed the same story that Fox News did, which, to be fair, it's starting to look an awful lot like that's actually what is in the bill, and that was actually leaked by AOC and Brain Trust Incorporated. Actually leaked by them intentionally. They didn't think they were going to get the backlash that they did. They thought it was going to go entirely underneath the sails and nobody was going to say a single fucking thing. They thought they were going to swim underneath the bridge with 200 pounds of fucking drugs and nobody's going to be like, hey, they're trying to sneak underneath the bridge. What the fuck are they doing? They got 200 kilos of cocaine. Bad analogies aside. This culminated in AOC, Alexandria, I can never pronounce her middle name, Cortez, I will, for reference, whenever I say AOC, that is who I am referring to for future reference. She basically took this as an opportunity to play a victim card and say, you see all these conservatives and these right-wingers are so scared of a Hispanic congresswoman and now they're coming after me. It's not just Republicans fucking turbo-tard. There are plenty of fucking libertarians and cats, probably some left-leaning people out there. Actually, I know for a fact there are left-leaning people out there that are reading this and they're having an aneurysm because the amount of stupidity that was poured into it is so fucking dumb. It looks like it was written by a fucking 4-year-old. I mean, at what point I know she didn't write this solely on her own. She had help. Whether or not anybody that wants to own up to this fucking dumpster fire other than her is another subject for another time. I'm fairly certain there are at least 2 other people that were involved in writing this dimwit of a fucking bill. If that's even, it's not even a fucking bill, it's just outright an excuse for ever-increasing government sizes, socialism, kill the cows, Green New Deal, we're going to nuke the cows, we're going to clean up the earth by nuking the cows, and then after we nuke the cows, we're going to nuke Trump, because he's bad. That's actually not what it says, but there is a snippet in there, there is a section that starts talking about climate change and lowering the effects of cattle by culling the herd, so to speak. But it's just, her reaction to that is, well, if you criticize me, obviously you're a right-winger. That is, her stupidity aside, that is one of the things that irritates me the fucking most about the left and the right. More the left, because the left are louder, but the left and the right. If you have an issue with something that is considered a core tenet of their philosophy, the left, if you attack social programs and how they're massively ineffective and private charity could handle far more efficiently without somebody coming to your house and putting a gun to your head and taking your money, you start talking about that and all of a sudden you become some right-wing Trumpster. Or, to turn the tables around to the other side, if you start talking about border security, prison reform, and more importantly, the end of the drug war, to a majority of modern conservatives, they'll think you're a fucking red-swelling communist. But that's a system, that is a symptom of the times. Nobody can deal with the fact that somebody disagrees with them, not because they have legitimate issues with something that they believe, but because they've been brainwashed by the other side. And to be fair, the government as a whole, and politicians, especially politicians, really love when people think like that because it allows them to stupid up the things that they say. It's just like that one scene in fucking Family Guy where Lois Griffin was told by Brian, are you talking to independent voters? You got to dumb down your speeches. You got to dumb down your speeches. And all she said was 9/11 is bad. Well, it's basically the same thing with the fucking left. All you got to do to become a left superstar is go up and say, orange man bad. And that's all you got to do, and you'll be set on a fucking chair and paraded around the streets. Well, unless you're a white male, then you'll be thrown in the gulag with the rest of us. Or you just claim that you're a woman and that you like sucking dick and they'll let you live, maybe. The dresses are going to get entirely uncomfortable. My Saturday nights aside, I feel like it's time to move on to the second topic. Well, I mentioned AOC before, and that was mostly about the Green New Deal. However, she had to pipe her unbelievably stupid fucking church organs about the Amazon deal that fell through with New York City. Now, the short version of this story is Amazon wanted to build a facility in New York City. Not really a bad idea, or actually a really bad idea, because New York City is a heavily fined fucking city. It's a heavily fined state. Trust me, I know, I live in New York. But they wanted to build within New York City and deal with New York City. And as in return for this keep this number in mind, this $27 billion project, they were going to get $3 billion in tax relief incentive. Tax relief and incentive. That's another very important section to keep in mind here. Now, AOC and company and their brilliant socialist organs started tweeting right away, twiddling their fucking fingers, playing it like some fucking Beethoven to this shit when the deal fell through because Amazon didn't want to deal with New York City, and New York City kind of fucked them in the ass about it. Now, keep in mind, there was also about 20,000 jobs or so that I do believe that are going to be in. Correct me if I'm wrong. I do believe there's around 20,000 jobs that were going to be in, that were going to come along with this $27 billion fucking business venture. And AOC was so happy about the deal falling through, and a number of other majorly liberal people were so happy that the deal was falling through because they were like, oh, well, they're getting $3 billion to do this. It's just people, it's giving them money just to build. And it's like, you're not giving them $3 billion, you unbelievably daft fucking cunt. You're not going to take that $3 billion. It's not giving somebody money when you don't steal it from them. The next time I'm walking through a rough neighborhood in my town and a mugger comes up to me with a gun and says, hey, I was going to mug you, but you can keep that $100 in your wallet. I'm going to shake his hand and thank him because he didn't steal my fucking money. God, that pisses me off. That kind of mentality is also going into something else I wanted to segue into as well. Now, before I do the segue, remember what I said? They were all happy about it falling through because they were going to get $3 billion in tax incentives. But there was a $27 billion project, plus all the workers that were going to be working that are going to be taxed. Their income is going to be taxed, and the things that they buy with the money that they made by working is going to be taxed. All of that aside, that $27 million project, and you assholes were fucking hoopla and having a fucking grand old shindig about $3 billion that now you're just not going to get any tax dollars, you fucking idiot. These are the morons that we have running our fucking checkbooks. These are the fucking assholes we trust with our money. And this goes as a general blanket term. This isn't specifically pointing to AOC as an individual. This is all of our fucking Congress, because these fucking assholes are the ones that are supposed to be balancing a fucking checkbook over $20 trillion and counting in debt. But to that segue I was talking about before, the issue that I have with people that are being like, oh, you didn't get taxed $3 billion, which means you made $3 billion. And no, that is not how making money works. It's like a tax refund. When the Democrats were all like, oh, people aren't getting as much in their tax refund, and that's fucking horrible. Trump's tax plan is disgusting, and it's robbing middle-class families of tax-refunded dollars. No, you fucking idiot. They didn't have that money taken away from them. A tax refund isn't the government going, all right, you worked all year, so I think Daddy's going to give you a little bit of an allowance. No, it's, well, I'm going to take your money, I'm going to take your money, and then, okay, I'm going to give you this much back. That's how a fucking tax refund works, you fucking turbo-tard. A tax refund isn't the government giving you money. The government giving back some of what they stole. If a guy breaks into my fucking house and walks out with all my fucking shit, but he gives me my TV back, guess what? I don't have a chair, my Xbox is stolen, my PS4 is stolen, my computer is stolen, my bed's stolen, I don't have any fucking food in my fridge, and more importantly, I don't have any beer in my fridge. That's what really pisses me off. But you see my fucking point. Okay, the third and final topic before I have a fucking aneurysm. Remember where I was going back and talking about how the right, when you disagree with the right, they immediately assume that you're left, and you disagree with the left, they immediately assume you're right, and apparently neither side can fathom. They're two-dimensional creatures trying to understand a three-dimensional world. Get what I'm saying? Trump using the national emergency to get funding for his wall, which is, by the way, I do believe is in the $3 billion mark, which, by the way, is about $3 billion of taxpayers' money that's just going to build a wall, which, don't get me wrong, if you want a wall built, start a GoFundMe, which fucking happened, and guess what? It was making money. What does that tell me? A lot of these government-funded bullshit could be crowdfunded if the government would move out of the way, but the government has become a monopoly on a number of these fucking things and won't let that happen. But that aside, Trump using his executive power to get the wall built, while the conservatives are, as a general statement, not all of them, but the conservatives are fucking ecstatic about this. I saw Razor Fist as an example, as one of these people that's ecstatic about this. Sticks, well, I don't really consider a right-wing person, but I disagree with him adamantly about his sentiments in regards to Trump doing this. He basically was going out and saying, well, this is just Trump spanking the Democrats for being stupid. It's like, yeah, I get what you're coming from, dude, but here's the thing. This goes for conservatives as a whole statement. Anybody that's a fan of this, when Trump does this, okay, it's all fine and dandy, but what happens if the person that gets him in after him is Elizabeth Warren or some other super liberal person? Well, they're going to use that precedent that Trump just set to do a fucking state of emergency for something, name a fucking topic. Healthcare, climate change, gun control. Those are three right there that I name off the top of my fucking head. Well, Trump did it. That gives me the right to do it as well. Now, keep in mind, Trump's not the first person to fucking pull this kind of shit. Slowly but surely, over time, presidents have been given more and more power. But to keep things easy and for the matter of simplicity and for my own sanity and for the length of video, it really all started back with Bush. Back when he proposed the Patriot Act and everything else, and he did it on the hind corners of the 9/11, and everybody was all upset about 9/11 and thought the Patriot Act was a good idea. Not everybody, but there were a lot of people behind it. Obviously, it got passed into law. People completely ignored the fact that this might be taken advantage of. Completely ignored that. And then, lo and behold, a decade later, and we're dealing with the ramifications of that law when you come to find out that the CIA and the NSA have been peeking into your fucking bedroom while you're fapping. I mean, me, personally, turns me on. I mean, the idea of some guy sitting behind a desk and watching me jerk it really feeds my narcissistic ego. But the fact is that people willingly gave up their rights on the curtails of a fucking tragedy, because that's what fucking politicians do. They present a situation that has happened and then present a solution. And the solution is usually them getting more power. And don't let a fucking politician tell you otherwise. They all want power, they all want money, and they all want to do it without very little work. That's why they became politicians. But the fact of the matter is Trump doing this is only setting a precedent that will allow a president that disagrees with him vehemently, which it is going to fucking happen. A Democrat is going to get back in office. I don't care how much you Republicans and conservatives tell yourselves otherwise. It's happened countless times in the fucking past. It's going to happen again. Is that politician going to be as much of an extreme liberal as, say, Elizabeth Warren? Maybe not. But here's the thing. If you don't open the door for the vampire doesn't get in your house in the fucking first place. If you don't invite them in, they don't come in. What I'm saying is, if you don't want the opposing, this goes for liberals and conservatives, if you don't want the opposing party to do things, let me rephrase that. Take everything that the politician that's in power right now, if you're a Republican, if you take everything that you think that Trump's doing in regards to the wall, you think that's a good idea? Imagine what would happen if it was a liberal. Liberals, you think they thought that Obama, using his executive power to push through as many laws as he possibly could, curtailing around the outsides of our fucking predisposed governmental system, going around those entirely and giving a middle finger to the Republicans he drove by on his Harley with his fucking leather jacket on. If those of you that paraded that as the greatest thing in fucking ever, you are the reason why Trump is doing what he's doing right now. This precedent that has been set, that has been allowed to happen without repercussion whatsoever, just because a politician that's in power always has a large amount of the country behind them, based solely upon their political party, that is the reason why we have this fucking situation. Now, we have a situation where this is going to happen. Billions of dollars are going to go into it. And the minute that a fucking liberal gets into power, they're going to go down, they might literally take a fucking tank down there and blow a hole in the wall. Why? You set the fucking precedent, asshole. You invited the fucking vampire in, now he's sucking your blood. Congratulations. And yes, I'm using the vampire blood-sucking as an analogy for government because it fucking fits. Anyway, that just about covers all that I wanted to cover today. And I'm sorry if I seemed a little more erratic and a little more tangible. Or not tangible, excuse me, wrong word. A little more erratic and a little more going off on tangents and doing everything else, and I normally would, but like I said, this is unscripted. This is entirely off the cuff, as off the cuff was originally intended to be, but regardless. Anyway, the week that I recorded this is currently, today is February 15th, 2019, that I'm recording the audio and everything else for this. So if things change within the next week or two, I will be legitimately surprised. But it seems like the path that we are going down now, the next few presidential election cycles are going to be fucking interesting. But needless to say, that'll do it for this video. So those of you out there in the intervals, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and or night, and I will see you guys in another couple of months. I'm just joking. I'm hoping to be back before that. Anyway, see you cunts later. Anyway, that just about covers all that I wanted to cover today. And I'm sorry if I seemed a little more erratic and a little more tangible, or not tangible, excuse me, wrong word. A little more erratic and a little more going off on tangents and doing everything else, and I normally would, but like I said, this is unscripted. This is entirely off the cuff, as off the cuff was originally intended to be, but regardless. Anyway, the week that I recorded this is currently, today is February 15th, 2019, that I'm recording the audio and everything else for this. So if things change within the next week or two, I will be legitimately surprised. But it seems like the path that we are going down now, the next few presidential election cycles are going to be fucking interesting. But needless to say, that'll do it for this video. So those of you out there in the intervals, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and or night, and I will see you guys in another couple of months. I'm just joking. I'm hoping to be back before that. Anyway, see you cunts later.